You feel invisible, not because you're weak, not because you lack talent, not because you're unworthy. You feel invisible because of one simple truth: you're too available. You give too much, you care too much. You try too hard to prove yourself to people who don't even respect you. And here's the brutal reality that nobody ever tells you. The world doesn't care about your good intentions. Your kindness, your honesty, your loyalty, while admirable, these qualities alone won't guarantee success, influence, or respect. What the world values, what it rewards, is your actual worth, your scarcity, and the way you control how others perceive you. If you can't manage these things, if you don't understand the subtle rules of human dynamics, you'll spend your life being overlooked, used, and ultimately replaced. And make no mistake, this isn't pessimism, it's reality. Machiavelli understood this over 500 years ago. He watched men with pure hearts get trampled by those who were ruthless yet strategic. He saw manipulators rise while the well-intentioned were left powerless. He realized that power doesn't belong to the kindest man in the room. It belongs to the one who knows the game, who understands the invisible rules, and who knows how to play them. Today, I'm going to give you a blueprint. 7 Machiavellian principles that, if applied properly, can transform you from forgettable to unforgettable, from desperate to dominant, from powerless to untouchable. This isn't about being cruel, it's about being strategically smart. It's about becoming so indispensable that people need you more than you need them. Before we begin, I want you to commit this affirmation in the comments. I control my value. Now, let's break it down. 1. The reality of power and human nature. Here's something most people don't want to admit. Morality is irrelevant when you are weak. You can be the kindest, most honest, most hardworking person in the room, and it won't matter. You can go above and beyond for people who promise to notice, to reward, to respect. But the world doesn't operate on intentions. It operates on results and perception. Machiavelli made this crystal clear. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. People see outcomes, not intentions. They see power, status, influence, not struggle, not sacrifice, not effort. This is why good people are often overlooked. They work tirelessly, yet the recognition they expect never comes. They wait for people to reward their loyalty, for society to acknowledge their heart. But it doesn't. Why? Because human nature prioritizes utility over sentiment. Respect isn't given, it's earned through demonstrable strength, results, and indispensability. Loyalty isn't automatic, it's granted to those who provide irreplaceable value. Consider this in your own life. Look at your workplace, your relationships, your social circles. Who truly gets ahead? Not always the nicest, not always the most moral. Those who succeed are strategic, perceptive, and able to navigate human behavior with precision. They understand the subtle psychology of influence. People respond to what they need, not necessarily to what they admire. So if you're feeling invisible, ask yourself this uncomfortable question. What am I contributing that makes me truly irreplaceable? Because if your answer is nothing, it's not that you're undervalued, it's that the world is valuing you accurately. Here's the shift. Stop trying to prove that you're a good person. Start proving that you're a necessary person. Build skills that matter. Solve problems others cannot. Deliver results that speak louder than any words could. When you become undeniably competent, people will respect you, not because they like you, but because they need you. And let me remind you, need is far stronger than affection. Machiavelli knew this. The princes who survived weren't the most kind-hearted. They were the ones who understood the rules. In a world driven by self-interest, power flows to those who are indispensable, who offer something others cannot do without. Drop this affirmation in the comments now. Strength earns respect. 2. Value as the true measure of worth. Here's another hard truth. The world is a marketplace, and whether you like it or not, you're constantly being evaluated. Every day, in every interaction, your value is being measured, not by your intentions, not by how hard you try, but by the results you produce. Society doesn't reward effort, it rewards impact. You can work 16 hours a day, sacrifice sleep, push yourself to the brink, and still be overlooked, unappreciated, or even replaced. Why? Because effort without effect is invisible. Nobody pays for trying. They pay for solving problems, for producing outcomes that matter. Nobody promotes late nights. They reward results that can't be ignored. Think about it. All those good people who feel stuck, exhausted, or frustrated, what's really happening? They're pouring energy into things that don't move the needle. They're being loyal to people who see them as disposable. They're hoping hard work alone will earn respect or recognition. But hope, my friend, is not a strategy. To change your life, you need to flip the script. Stop seeking approval for being nice. Stop expecting loyalty from those who see you as optional. Instead, focus relentlessly on becoming valuable beyond question. Master skills, create results, and demonstrate your worth in ways that cannot be ignored. When you become the kind of person others cannot do without, you no longer chase respect, it chases you. This is the essence of power.
And Machiavelli, writing centuries ago, distilled this into a simple principle. Power flows to those who provide irreplaceable value. Here's the shift you need to make in your life right now. Stop focusing on being liked. Stop seeking approval from everyone around you. Stop trying to convince people that you're a good person. Instead, focus on becoming irreplaceable. That's the game changer. What does being irreplaceable look like? It's not about popularity. It's not about being everyone's favorite. Being irreplaceable means mastering skills that are rare and in high demand, the kind of skills that people can't find anywhere else. It means taking on challenges and solving problems that others shy from. It means becoming so exceptionally good at what you do that losing you would create chaos. When you reach this level, respect is no longer something you beg for. It's something that comes to you automatically, simply because people recognize your unique value. Think about the people in your life who really have leverage. Who are the ones that others defer to, listen to, and respect without question? They're not constantly seeking approval. They don't chase validation. They understand their worth, and they operate from a place of power, not desperation. They don't prove their value verbally. They demonstrate it through action. Others see it, and the conclusion is obvious. This person is critical, indispensable, and non-negotiable. This is the crucial difference between being common and being critical. If someone could replace you tomorrow and nobody would notice, you are common. But if your absence would create a problem no one can solve, if your contribution is so essential that it leaves a gap when missing, you are critical. And make no mistake, critical people hold real power. So ask yourself, what value am I creating that nobody else can? If you can't answer that immediately, consider this your wake-up call. It's time to build something, master something, and become the kind of people genuinely need, not just tolerate. Because in the game of value, mediocrity is invisible. Excellent, on the other hand, is unforgettable. Drop this affirmation in the comments now. I am irreplaceable. 3. Scarcity, the first law of power. Here's a principle that will fundamentally change the way people perceive you. Scarcity creates value. Availability destroys it. And about gold, why is it so precious? Not because it's the most practical or useful metal. It's because it's rare. Now think about air. Essential for life, yes, but in terms of value, it's essentially free. Why? Because it's everywhere. The same principle applies to you. If you're constantly available, always saying yes, always ready to help, always responding immediately, you become like air. People take you for granted. They don't see your effort.
They don't respect your time. Your value diminishes in their eyes because you've trained them to expect your presence as a given. Machiavelli understood this deeply. The most powerful figures he observed were never those constantly in the spotlight. They were selective, they were strategic, hard to reach, hard to influence. Their scarcity made their presence valuable. They didn't chase attention, they commanded it. Here's what you need to implement in your life: the art of strategic withdrawal. This isn't about being rude or passive-aggressive. It's about being intentional with your time, energy, and presence. Don't answer every call immediately. Let some messages sit. Learn to say no to requests that don't serve your long-term goals. Create space. When you do this, something extraordinary happens. People start noticing you differently. They start respecting your time. They start valuing your presence because it's no longer guaranteed. Scarcity breeds curiosity. Curiosity breeds desire. Desire ultimately breeds power. Look around. Who do you respect most? The ones constantly chasing you, constantly available, always bending over backward? Or the ones who are selective, busy, and hard to pin down? The answer is clear. But scarcity isn't only about time. It's also about your energy, focus, and emotional investment. Stop pouring yourself into people who don't reciprocate. Stop being emotionally available to everyone. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. When you become scarce, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect, you force people to earn access to you. And here's the final test. The ones who don't respect your boundaries, who walk away when you enforce limits, were never worth your energy anyway. The ones who stay, who honor your time, who understand your value, those are the relationships and connections worth keeping. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Tolerate disrespect, and you'll get more of it. Accept being taken for granted, and that's exactly what you'll receive. But when you step back, when you become selective, when you operate from abundance instead of desperation, you flip the dynamic. Suddenly, the game changes. Suddenly, they're chasing you. 4. Competence over charisma. Many people are fooled into believing that charisma equals power. They think that if they are charming, witty, likable, or entertaining, doors will automatically open for them. And yes, charisma can be helpful in the short term. It can make introductions easier, it can make people like you, and it can temporarily sway opinions. But here's the reality. Charisma is fleeting. It fades. It's superficial. It relies on perception rather than substance. Competence, on the other hand, compounds over time. The person who relies solely on charm might peak early. People soon realize that underneath the charisma, there are no results, no mastery, no follow-through. When that happens, the magic disappears. The charm turns hollow, and suddenly credibility vanishes. People stop trusting them. They stop following them. Charisma alone cannot sustain influence. Now, consider the person who focuses relentlessly on building real skills, mastering their craft, and delivering consistent results. This person becomes untouchable. They may not be the loudest, the flashiest, or the most charming, but they are indispensable. Machiavelli valued competence above all. He knew that in the long game, results always trump personalities. Think about it. You can be the most charismatic person in the room, but if you fail to deliver when it matters most, people will lose faith. Once trust is broken, no charm, no smile, no joke can restore it. Conversely, you can be quiet, reserved, even slightly awkward. But if you are the person who solves problems, delivers results, and consistently adds value, people will respect you. They will need you, and need creates leverage. Competence gives you options. Charisma makes you dependent on the moods, whims, or opinions of others. Competence creates independence. When you master a skill, a craft, or a domain, you don't need to beg for opportunities. Opportunities come to you. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth. Your work speaks for itself. You don't need validation. You have proof. This is the difference between surface-level influence and deep, sustainable power. Charisma is temporary. Competence is permanent. Charisma can be borrowed. Competence is owned. So here's what you must do. Become so good at what you do that people cannot ignore you. Stop worrying about being liked. Stop trying to impress. Stop chasing attention. Focus on delivering results that matter, outcomes that create impact, work that speaks louder than any words ever could. When you do this, you stop feeling anxious about what others think. You stop seeking approval because you already know your worth. And that confidence, the kind built through competence, is magnetic. People sense it. They gravitate toward it. This is how you build lasting, unshakable power. Not through tricks, not through manipulation, but through mastery and excellence. Drop this affirmation in the comments now. My skills speak louder. 5. Emotional detachment. Your emotions can be your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. Every time you react out of anger, jealousy, desperation, or insecurity, you hand control to someone else. Every time you let someone see that they got under your skin, you give them power over you. Machiavelli observed this centuries ago. He saw men with emotional volatility make devastatingly poor decisions. He noticed how easily people could be manipulated when they could not control their own feelings. He concluded something profound. Emotions are tools, not masters. Now, let me clarify. I'm not suggesting you become a robot. I'm not telling you to suppress all feelings, all passion, all human expression. That's not power, it's denial. What I am saying is this. The person who controls their emotions controls the interaction. Think back to arguments, conflicts, or tense negotiations you've experienced. Who had the real power? The person screaming, losing control, and reacting impulsively? Or the one who stayed calm, composed, and deliberate, refusing to be rattled? You already know the answer. Reactivity equals vulnerability. When someone can provoke your anger, jealousy, insecurity, or desperation, they control you. That's the truth. But when you stay calm, process your emotions internally, and respond strategically, you become dangerous. You gain a kind of influence that cannot be taken away. Emotional detachment is a superpower for 3 main reasons. Better decision-making. Emotions cloud judgment. Anger leads to regret. Desperation leads to poor compromises. Hurt leads to revenge-driven actions. When you detach, you see situations clearly, think strategically, and act with precision. Immunity to manipulation. Most manipulation works through emotional triggers: fear, guilt, desire, insecurity. If you are emotionally disciplined, these tactics fail. Others try to push your buttons, but find none. That is terrifying to manipulators and empowering for you. Respect and authority. People instinctively respect calm, composed individuals. Composure signals strength. It signals confidence. It signals control. When you maintain control over your emotions, others notice. They defer to you. They value your presence. Emotional detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means mastery over yourself. It means turning your emotions into tools for strategy rather than allowing them to dictate your life. The stronger your emotional discipline, the harder it is to manipulate you, the more respect you command, and the greater your influence. 6. Emotional mastery. Calm under pressure. People instinctively respect those who don't crack under pressure. When chaos erupts around you, when everyone else is panicking, losing focus, or reacting impulsively, you stand calm, composed, and unfazed. In that moment, whether you intended it or not, you become the leader. Authority is not always granted. It is noticed in those who handle stress gracefully. So, how do you cultivate this skill of emotional mastery? There are 3 critical steps. Step 1. Pause before reacting. Whenever something triggers you, take a moment. Breathe. Count to 5.
Don't allow your immediate emotional impulse to dictate your response. That tiny pause gives your rational mind time to engage and prevents reactive mistakes.
Step 2. Separate feelings from facts. Ask yourself, am I reacting to what actually happened or to my interpretation of it, colored by emotion? Most of the time, our reactions are driven by feelings, not reality. By identifying the difference, you prevent your emotions from controlling your decisions. Step 3. Zoom out. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year? 5 years? Probably not. So why give it power today? When you maintain perspective, you conserve energy, stay focused on what matters, and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Practicing emotional detachment allows you to stop being a puppet. You no longer dance to others' tunes. You become the one pulling the strings, orchestrating interactions with precision, calmness, and authority. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my reactions. 7. The power of walking away. Here's one of the most underrated yet strongest power moves, the ability to walk away. Most people never develop it. That's why they remain powerless. The ability to walk away puts you in the ultimate negotiating position. Think about it. If you need a relationship, your partner controls you. If you need a job, your employer controls you. If you need someone's approval, they control you. But the moment you are willing to walk away, truly willing, without ego or desperation, you take back control. You regain leverage because options equal freedom and dependency equals weakness. Machiavelli observed this centuries ago. The most powerful princes were never the ones clinging desperately to alliances. They were the ones willing to break ties when necessary, who understood that freedom comes from having options, not obligations. Here's the hard truth most people avoid. If you can't walk away, you're not in a partnership, you're in a prison. A relationship where you fear speaking up because they might leave. A job where you tolerate disrespect because you can't afford to quit. Friendships where you give everything and receive nothing, yet remain trapped. Everyone can sense it, and they exploit it. How to build the power to walk away. Build options. Never put all your eggs in one basket. Income, relationships, opportunities. Diversify. Options prevent desperation, and desperation destroys leverage. Know your worth. Understand what you bring to the table. Recognize that you are not lucky to be there. Others are lucky to have you. This is not arrogance. This is self-respect. Be willing to lose. The hardest part is genuinely being okay with walking away. If you bluff, people will call it. If you're serious, they'll feel it and respect you for it. People adjust their behavior when they sense boundaries backed by real power. I've seen this play out countless times. The person who is willing to walk away almost never has to. Why? Because people respect strength, boundaries, and self-value. Walking away is not coldness, it's standard setting. It's refusing to settle. It's refusing to be disrespected. And when you enforce it, you attract better people in situations, those who honor your worth. Remember, you're not walking away from them, you're walking toward yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I walk toward better. 8. Reputation as currency. Your reputation is either working for you or against you at every moment, even when you're not in the room. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves." Your reputation is the foundation of both strategy and strength. It's the invisible force that opens doors before you knock. It closes opportunities before you even knew they existed. Your reputation shapes how people treat you, trust you, and value you, often more than your words or actions in the moment. Here's the kicker. Once your reputation is damaged, it's nearly impossible to fully restore. A single misstep, one misjudged interaction, one perceived weakness, these can stick in people's minds forever. That's why you must protect your reputation fiercely. Every action, every interaction, every word matters. Build a reputation that precedes you. Be consistent, competent, reliable, and principled. Let your reputation speak louder than your presence ever could. 9. Reputation, your most valuable asset. Your reputation is fragile. You can spend years building trust, and yet in one careless moment, a poor decision, a lie, a betrayal,
or a single lapse in judgment, you can destroy it. That's why reputation must be guarded like gold. It's one of the most powerful forms of leverage you have, and once it's damaged, it's incredibly difficult to restore. Here's how to build and protect a powerful reputation. 1. Consistency over intensity. Don't be the person who shines brilliantly one day and disappears the next. People trust patterns, not promises. Show up consistently. Reliability creates a sense of stability that others respect deeply. When people can predict your behavior positively, they assign value to your presence. Consistency compounds over time. Excellence builds credibility, while unpredictability erodes it. 2. Deliver on your word. Say what you mean and do what you say, every time. No excuses, no half measures. Reliability is rare. Reliability equals value. When people know they can count on you, your reputation becomes a magnet for opportunity. Words mean little without follow-through. Actions build legacy. 3. Control the narrative. Never allow others to define who you are. Own your story. Correct misinformation. Defend your name when necessary. Silence can be mistaken for strength, but sometimes silence is surrender. Be strategic about your communication and ensure that your reputation reflects your true value. 4. Associate strategically. Your reputation is strongly influenced by the company you keep. Surround yourself with high-value, respected, ambitious individuals, and their credibility rubs off on you. Associate with mediocrity, chaos, or dishonesty, and the world assumes you're no different. Choose your circle wisely. Your network amplifies your power. 5. Never compromise integrity for short-term gain. The fastest way to ruin your reputation is to sell out your principles. Once people see you willing to compromise when it's convenient, trust evaporates. People remember. They don't forget. Integrity compounds influence. Compromising it destroys it.
Your reputation isn't about being liked. It's about being respected, trusted, and remembered for something that truly matters. Are you known for results, honesty, competence, and keeping promises? Or for excuses, drama, and inconsistency? The choice is yours. But remember, once a reputation is formed, changing it is a monumental uphill battle. Build it right the first time. Bringing it all together, your blueprint for power. Here's where we are. You now have the full blueprint, 7 Machiavellian principles that separate the powerless from the powerful. This isn't theory. This is reality. This is how the game actually works. Now comes your choice. You can go back to being the nice guy who finishes last, the one who gives everything and gets nothing, the one who is always available, always accommodating, always overlooked. Or you can step into strategic power, the person who controls his value, who moves with precision, who cannot be manipulated, who walks away when necessary, who builds a reputation so strong that opportunities start chasing him. Remember, the world doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards power. And power isn't about being loud, flashy, or overbearing. It's about being strategic, disciplined, intelligent, and self-controlled. Machiavelli handed us this manual 500 years ago. Most ignored it, choosing to believe in fairness, kindness, and that effort alone would be enough. But you're not most people. You're here because you want the truth. And the truth is this: the game is already being played. The only question is whether you're playing to win or being played. Take these principles, apply them deliberately, and watch how your life transforms. Watch how people's behavior toward you shifts when you stop being desperate and start being selective. Watch how respect manifests when you master your emotions. Watch how power flows naturally when you become irreplaceable. This is your transformation. Own it. If this video gave you clarity, awakened something in you, or sparked the desire to take control of your life, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe, because we're just getting started. Drop your favorite affirmation from today in the comments. Let's see who's truly ready to level up. You're not here by accident. You're here because you're done being average. You're done being overlooked. You're done giving without receiving. Now, it's time to prove it, to yourself and to the world.